High school sports are a cornerstone of American education, offering students the opportunity to develop physical skills, teamwork, and leadership. A focus now is to include diversity and inclusion, reflecting broader societal changes and ensuring that all students have the opportunity to participate and succeed. Historically, certain sports and teams have been less accessible to students from diverse backgrounds due to financial constraints, cultural barriers, or a lack of resources. Schools and communities are now making concerted efforts to break down these barriers, ensuring that all students, regardless of their background, can participate in sports.
Well, if you're talking about diversity in general, I mean, this is the most ethnically diverse team I've ever coached. I mean, we have a player from Sri Lanka, we have an Indian and Pakistani player, we have plenty of African American players, we have two kids from Venezuela. This is the most ethnically and racially diverse team I've ever coached. However, that necessarily doesn't matter. It matters, like what you said, the background of the player. So some kids' home lives are different than others, right? And that's kind of my job to have a finger on that, to see what kid can I push in a different way, and what kid can I give a little bit more leeway, as long as they are adhering to the culture, as long as they are communicating those things, and whatever they are communicating to me, it's also reciprocated from me to them. I don't want to try to coach everybody the same, because not everybody's going to react the same way. So I don't want to get into specific with some kids' backgrounds, but some kids need a break every once in a while, right? And that's kind of my job, to make sure that I'm there for them.
It's definitely tough, especially without having a JV. You know, everyone has to play varsity, so getting everyone up to the same speed isn't always the easiest. But our guys do a great job of taking in everything we tell them, and going through the steps. And we take our time working with the younger guys, making sure we try to catch them up as best as we can. We definitely lean heavier on our older guys for sure, but we just take our time, build up those basic skills as best we can.
We have a lot of coaches that help out, so we're able to a lot of times work together with those kids that aren't so skilled along with the kids that are skilled, and a lot of times we'll kind of pair them up, so that way the kids that aren't so skilled with it are playing with higher level ball players that are going to in turn make them better ball players too as well. And a lot of times we have coaches that are available to help these kids out one-on-one, giving them extra time, extra reps. Whether we can have the team out in the field, we can pull a group of kids off to the side and just work on individual stuff with them. I know a lot of kids, sometimes their experiences are very different from others, just based off of some kids can go play travel ball and others can't. So what I like to do is I like to try to mix all that together here through my program, so that way everybody's getting better, even when they're a freshman all the way through their senior year.
You try to mix in the athletes the best that you can, and function in a way that we're a team. It's not, seniors and everyone else. It's not varsity versus JV. We represent Perryville Panthers. It doesn't matter if you are JV or varsity. We're all part of the same team.
For coaches, balance is the key to success. But learning that balance may be difficult, especially when in season.
One of the challenges is there's so much outside of track and outside of school that these student athletes are involved in. They are getting to the age of the younger ones. Parents have to bring them to practices on half days or other days, and parents have to pick them up because they can't drive. And so sometimes parent arrangements, which family and jobs are what they are, impacts how much time on the team they can be. And then as they become young adults, they get a car. Then they need insurance, and then they get a job for that. And it's perfectly good, it's a perfectly right thing to do. But those things also impact what we can do, and we can build with them in sports and athletics here in Northeast High School.
I guess just getting kids to buy in. I mean, getting them to give us a shot. I mean, because most of the time these kids come in, they've already played soccer and lacrosse and basketball, whatever, football for many, many years. Track and field is new to them. And if we're being honest, usually running is punishment in a lot of sports. So trying to get them to understand that there's more to it than that. We've had state champions come through here in all 18 of the events that we have because they gave it a shot and they figured out, hey, I'm pretty good at this. So just putting your nose out there, going out on a limb, trying to get them to buy into what the sport actually is. Certainly not punishment, but they will actually realize some success if they come out and join the team.
The student body buy-in isn't where it was before COVID even, and we've played some playoff games here on this field where I was surprised at the student section, years ago, where it was like, man, there's a lot of kids here supporting us, and now you don't see the same thing.
There are kids who, I think these days, it's a lot of, I don't think I'm going to be good at it, so I'm just not going to do it. Letting their self-esteem or whatever people have said to them about them that may or may not be true, them letting that dictate how they run their life. I think this is a great community, but there's a lot of kids in this community who suffer at home. So I think a lot of it is getting to the person, the human, and reminding them that they are human and that they can like things and that they can even be bad at things and it's okay. I think building up that already low teenage self-esteem, building that up, I think, takes a long time. And getting them to eat. I don't know why it's so hard getting teenage girls to eat on a regular basis. Here, have a Snickers. I don't know what to tell you. Here's a banana for your first meal of the day. Staying on top of things like that, I think, the stuff that you typically don't think about when you come into coaching, those have been the biggest obstacles to get through with them.
Coaching help is probably the biggest one that I have here at this high school. My high school coach, he travels an hour each way because I inherited a non-existent program. There was no one here in the building to help. And one of the other coaches that we had, I found by standing up in the whole UCBAC, Harford County and Cecil County, and I said, I need somebody with a pulse that can be at the high school at 3 o'clock. If they can pass the background check, I will take them as a coach. And we had a great coach, but he had a job change and he can't be here at 3 o'clock anymore. And he wants to be, but he can't be. So having high school programs right after school, 3 p.m., it's really difficult for working people to be here.
Schools are faced with a new era of fiscal challenges. As we move further away from the pandemic, funding becomes a continued challenge as student participation reaches record levels. High school sports programs have needed to get creative by finding new sources of revenue, and if they need to make cuts, do it in places that inflict minimal damage on students and staff. Many times, coaches and parents need to reach deep into their own pockets to get by.
Since I've been teaching at Elkton, it's been really easy to recruit kids to come play for the team, but the issue that we're running into is just getting the equipment. Like I said, it's an expensive sport. So, a lot of these helmets are now out of date. We have to replace these helmets, and for every helmet we don't have is a kid that can't play the sport. I know some of these kids are wearing equipment that we wore back in 2012 when I graduated from Elkton, and it's been over 10 years, 12 years, and I just gave a kid one of the sticks that we used when I was in school. So funding, I would say, is the biggest issue.
I can say that I spent a few $1,000s in the past couple years just purchasing pole vault poles for the high school. It's an expensive sport, and in order to get an athlete to jump the height that they physically can jump, you have to have a pole that works for them. Poles are rated by the amount of weight they can withstand and their length, and not all schools have the correct pole for that athlete's needs. So Facebook Marketplace, I've been able to find some poles there.
So the timing system that I was talking about, I paid for out of my own pocket, but it was something that I felt that we needed. It has benefited us, but yes, we do buy kids spikes if they need those running shoes, or just small stuff here and there to help us, so that we're not taking, or kids aren't distracted by the fact that someone else has something that they don't have, and then they feel like they're less prepared to compete. So that's why we generally do it. I mean, we've taken, and this has always been the case, there are coaches who work with us who have literally taken their shoes off their feet to give to a kid so that they can participate.
Whether it's getting a kid a new shaft because it broke, or a new head because it broke, and that type of thing, balls because we run out. It's a costly thing. It's not I probably don't even break even by the time that the pay comes around. But it's for the kids.
The impact that high school athletics has on students becomes evident after they graduate, as well as when they are in school. Sports participation allows for a stronger sense of self-confidence in building relationships with others and having an expanded capacity for empathy, developing a better understanding of self, and in so doing, understanding how their actions affect others. It also can build foundations for lifelong fitness habits.
Success, in my eyes, is when an athlete gets really excited about what they're doing and will just continue to work no matter what in order to achieve those goals.
Growth, both as skills and athletes, but as the athlete, as the human being, as the team, as the community. Watching them interact with each other outside of, just practice. Seeing people who didn't really talk to anybody at first now have this whole group of friends who says hi to them in the hallway. Watching them do something really hard they didn't think they'd be able to do at all at first. And watching those little moments happen of like, oh my God, I can do that. Or we just did that. Or wait, did that really just happen? Did we really just not lose by that much? Or did that person really just score that goal? That's never, watching those little, oh my God, I can do it moments. It's a huge motivator for them. And it helps, I think it helps them facilitate the community that they need and that they want.
I'm like second or third for a couple of the school records, and I'm this close to getting them. So I've been working towards those. And then I've already committed to a college for track.
One thing I really have learned from my coach is perseverance. He's constantly always trying to get us to keep going, not give up. He can be harsh about it sometimes, stern, but that's good for you when you're an athlete, to have a stern coach that really is trying to help you get to that next level.
If I see them galvanized as a team this time of year, that I know that I've done my job. It's how they come together. The love of the game with lacrosse is extremely important to me, and you see kids that tried it, and I'm going to try it, and all of a sudden, the end of the year, they're like, man, I love this sport, and I'm going to keep playing. And that's success to me, is having the kid come in and really, really enjoy it and get the same love of the game that I did.
Going to college to play lacrosse, going to Bridgewater College and majoring in business, minoring in finance, going to play there the next 4 years.
So I'm looking to go to Williamson Trade School. I'm looking to play lacrosse there. Their program looks pretty decent. I mean, I'm just kind of out there to have fun and just kind of keep a stick in my hand just to have a little bit of fun. Kind of have fun while it lasts.
I love to play in college or just on a men's league after high school. I don't want my high school career to be the end of my lacrosse career.
I wouldn't say the wins or losses. I could really care less about the wins or losses. Just the kids enjoying it, seeing that they're having fun, the excitement they get on their faces when things happen. Like I said, my freshman pitcher this year hit 100 strikeouts. That was amazing, seeing that success, seeing how happy the team was for her and how everybody was around her to support her with that. I had a senior this year get her first base hit, and she went 3 for 3 in a game and then got a hit on senior night. So, I mean, just those things like that, the little things there, just, brings a smile to your face, and that's why you love doing the job.
I mean, I like winning. So I look at our wins as one way to define it. We've went from a team that had 0 wins before I took over to now back-to-back 6-win seasons. I think that's successful for an area like this without a feeder program and without, much coming up through the ranks.
So I'd say it's twofold. I am a former athlete. I definitely like to win. That I wouldn't be here if I didn't want our kids to get PRs, wins, all of those things. But that is not what makes me tick. What makes me tick is seeing kids who did not know their limits get uncomfortable. You can't train a kid to push themselves beyond their comfort level. It has to come from inside. And I tell them all the time, I can't put that fire in your belly. That fire in your belly has to come from you. And usually it takes them getting a little ticked off at somebody they've been racing against, or even a peer on their team that they've been competitive with. And when they finally decide, I'm gonna do it today, that's when it happens. And that is a life skill that they don't get other places. I mean, other sports, absolutely. But sports is unique in that way that they get out of their comfort zone and they do things that they didn't know they could.
This year I want to break the school record in triple jump and the 400 meter. I already have the school record in the 300 meter hurdles, so I kind of want to look towards future goals too. Eventually I want to run in college.
So I'm off to Messiah University, and I'll be throwing there in
Congratulations.
D3. Thank you very much. I'll be throwing there at the D3 level, and I just plan to keep getting stronger, keep building my technique, and take with me what I've learned at Northeast and move it there.
Success for me, I don't know if I ever truly have full success, because I think it's evergreen. I think it continues to grow. To me, success is when I go into the grocery store and I see an ex-athlete of mine still say, "Hey coach, how you doing?" To me, that's success. Because if I build these relationships with these kids, it's not just as a coach, it's a mentor. And sometimes you don't realize the impact that you may have on a young student athlete's life, sometimes for 10 years.
If the athletes have made it through the program, because there are injuries, there's family issues, there's all kinds of things that there's grades. If we can get them to keep their grades on tack and keep coming to practices and continue to work and be good and stay healthy, that's a successful season. If through the 4 years of being in the program, they can go from being on the team to getting a letter, to competing at the region meet, to competing at the state meet. If there's that kind of progress I can see through athletes over 4 years, that's another way. But also the success comes from, as I mentioned before, athletes coming back, seeing what the program has done for them as adults and coming back. That's another measure of success of the program.
With distance running, it's a lot of pushing yourself as hard as possible, and my coach Sprout and Decker, they really help me be confident in my abilities when I'm running, and just like in general, because like I know I've been doing this for 4 years now. I know what I'm doing, and even if it's a new experience, I can be confident that I might not know exactly what I'm doing, but I can ask for help if I need it, and I don't need to be afraid just because something's new. And when it is something I've done before, I can be confident and I can help teach others if they need it. So it's really cool.
Just trying to stay active and like be like more social, I guess, because I like only have like a little bit of friends, but with track like I get to expand more and just like be more social with people and be more active.
Success to me is having that kid at the beginning of the year, and a lot of times I see these kids as freshmen and then throughout their whole high school career. So success to me is having that student, that player, being able to be an effective citizen in society. Once they go out of here, I want them to know and relate and take the skills that we learned and we taught them here and apply them out there, such as responsibility, ownership, acceptance, and dealing with failure. Because again, life is hard. It throws a lot of curveballs at you.
To me, being a mentor for the kids is more than anything. You know, if you ask a kid 10 years from now about the budget last year or about this or that, I think they're going to realize the friendships that they made and the coaches that they had more of an impact on whether or not we had funding for a uniform or anything like that.
I think the essence of sports and why people want to be here, why people from the community want to be here, is that we're representing Elkton, right? We're representing Cecil County, we're representing Maryland. And you can take pride in that, so. That's the thing, I mean, that's what I'm trying to focus on, you know? That's a success for me, right? If I come out here and we have a game, it's a good game, and the whole sidelines are just full of people, that's a success.
Programs such as Cecil High School Sports are produced by Cecil Public Media with the help of contributors and sponsors who believe that local media, like Cecil TV, is of value to the community. To continue to do this work, we need help in the form of contributions and program sponsorships. For more information, go to www.cecil.tv or email us at info@cecil.tv. Thanks.